So, welcome back. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the business plan. And the business plan is an important document for you, but a lot of entrepreneurs find it really difficult to write this down. I think you need to write it down. I think you ought to make a coherent business plan both for yourself and for your business partners, your co-founders, but also it is going to be useful in terms of raising money, either from a bank or from an equity investor. So, what should you have in your business plan? It should start, I think, with an executive summary, but you can't write the executive summary until you've written the rest of it. And then let's get into an introduction about the company, keeping it brief and succinct. And then very quickly move on to the market you're addressing. A business needs to address a market. There needs to be a pull for what you're offering. And of course, usually a market isn't empty. There are going to be competitors. So your next section should detail what your competitors are doing in the market and why you're different. That's when you can move on and talk about your product, your service, or your technology. Now, in a tech startup, what tends to happen is the entrepreneurs, being technologists, get very carried away in this chapter, and this becomes a long, sort of overwhelming chapter, and it's not necessary really. So what you need to do is outline your product, your service, any R&D that you're doing to make that reality, and then move on quite quickly. An important next chapter is customers, because what investors and stakeholders will want to see is that there really is a party that's going to pay some money for what you're developing. And this is equally important just for you and your management team. You need to have a customer pipeline detailed, and you also need to talk about those customers, potential customers you've talked with. Perhaps you've got letters of intent or memorandums of understanding that you can put into this chapter. Once you've outlined the customers, then I think you can move on and talk about your team. This is obviously both the management team, but also the people on the ground, perhaps doing the product development, doing the sales, doing the business development. And what you want to do here is outline how well formed your team is, but also those vacancies that you have moving forward. So where you see you building your team out and where you'll probably spend some money investing in recruitment. Important part of the business plan, of course, is the financial section. And this also tends to get overlooked by the technology startups, but equally it's really where the investors will spend a lot of time looking in the detail. So shouldn't be overlooked. What you should do in your finance section is talk about historical finances, so what you've spent your money on already, how you've managed to get money if you have, any sales that you've had, and how you've spread that money and made the development work and the startup grow. Then you need to have a budget, so you need to forecast your spending. This will include a sort of a burn rate, the amount of money that you spend on a monthly basis, any income projections, and of course what you should be seeing is increasing sales and increasing income as you progress through time. Also in finance, it's well worth outlining your equity position. So if you are looking for investment, how much investment are you looking for, and how that fits in with the capitalization table that you have. And we'll talk about that in later chapters. And then finally, the final chapter really of your business plan should be your next steps and also outlining your exit. So if you are writing for an investor, this is a key chapter for them because they'll want to see what your plans are, but they'll also want to see that you've been thinking about how you're going to make money in the business and then potentially from selling or listing the company in the future.